Welcome back to the Legacy Project podcast, where life's lessons become lasting legacies through the power of story. I'm your host, Don Fessenden, and as always, I'm joined by our curious and thoughtful intern, Harper. Welcome back, Harper.
Thanks, Don. I'm excited for today's topic because it's one I think a lot of us are drawn to, especially when we start thinking about writing our life stories.
Absolutely. Today we're diving into writing about healing and personal growth. It's one thing to document what happened in your life, but it's something deeper to reflect on how you've grown from it and what healing has looked like.
And I think a lot of people worry about whether they've healed enough to write about it.
That's such an important point, and we're going to explore that too. Let's get started. When we write about healing, we do more than process the past. We give hope to the future. Stories of personal growth remind others that change is possible, even when it feels out of reach. Harper, have you ever read a story that gave you that kind of encouragement?
Yes, actually, a memoir I read recently about someone overcoming a really toxic work environment. The author didn't just talk about leaving the job, they wrote about rebuilding their confidence and learning to trust themselves again. That part really stuck with me.
And that's the heart of it. Healing is often about what happens after the event, how we carry ourselves forward. One question I hear a lot is, how do I know if I'm ready to write about healing? And the answer is, you don't have to have it all figured out. Growth is ongoing. Start by asking, what have I learned about myself since this experience? What new choices do I make now? What relationships have changed? Or what boundaries have I built? And Harper, it's okay if the story feels unfinished, isn't it?
Definitely. I think sometimes people need to hear that healing is a process, not a destination. You can write from wherever you are in that process.
Exactly. And sometimes writing itself can help you see how far you've come. When writing about personal growth, it's important to be honest about the struggle, but also to reflect on what's shifted. You might write, I still feel sadness about this, but now I also feel I didn't think I could handle it, but here's what I've discovered about my resilience. Harper, why do you think that balance of honesty and hope resonates with readers?
Because it feels real. If it's too perfect, it doesn't feel relatable. But if it's just pain with no growth, it can feel hopeless. Readers connect when they can see both the struggle and the strength.
Exactly. You're not writing a fairy tale, you're writing a human story. Reflection is where healing often takes shape on the page. Ask yourself, what am I proud of? What advice would I give my younger self now? How might this part of my story encourage someone else? Harper, do you find that writing reflection feels different than writing about just the facts?
Definitely. Reflection feels more personal. It's like you're writing with your reader instead of just telling them what happened.
Beautifully said. And reflection is what transforms a life event into a legacy lesson. As we wrap up today's episode, here's my encouragement. Think of one part of your story where you've experienced healing or personal growth, whether it's big or small. Spend a few moments writing about what's different in your life now because of that growth. And remember, you don't have to be done healing to write. Sometimes the act of writing is part of the healing itself.
I really appreciate that, Don. It takes some of the pressure off. Your story doesn't have to be wrapped in a bow. You can write it from wherever you are.
Exactly. And that honesty makes your story even more powerful for those who will read it one day. If you'd like more guidance on writing through healing and personal growth, check out my book, The Legacy Project, a guide to sharing your story. It offers prompts, tools, and reflections to support you through the process. This is the Legacy Project podcast. Keep writing, keep healing, and always keep leaving your mark. We'll see you next time.